Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is a rarity from the 1990s, on the books from about 1991 to 1997. This is the Vacheron Constantin 49002 chronograph, part of the early Historiques collection, inspired by the vintage reference 6026. Truth be told, it's a very liberally applied format on a watch that can best be described as new vintage more than truly a vintage reedition. This timepiece from the 1990s is smaller, beautifully chased in its proportions, and a real throwback to the 1990s in terms of fit, feel, and aesthetic. So the original 6026 would have been a very different kind of timepiece. 2-register, manual wind, no date. So in the sense that this watch is inspired by that, it's more of a spiritual type thing, not a line-for-line takeoff. Historique was in its early days, back in the early 90s, and they hadn't yet fallen into the comfortable habit of patterning the watches precisely. This is more of an interpretation of the past. And it's actually very close in size, which is probably the closest parallel between the past and the present. So the 6026 was about 35.5 to 36. This is 35 millimeters in diameter in yellow gold as I measure it. About 700 of these were made in gold, 120 in platinum. So from 91 to 1997, not many of these were made. The original from 1954 to 55, they only made a few dozen of the 6026s, so every variant of this past and present is uncommon. So at 35 millimeters in diameter in yellow gold, it's a very traditionally sized watch. It does feel like something of a different era, even if that era is the 90s. 10 millimeters thick, 42.7 from lug tip to lug tip. It's got a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and it is lovely. A yellow gold watch should always be vintage or smaller in size, in my view. That's always been my style guide. This watch checks both boxes, suitable for a small wrist. In fact, as tiny as 13.5 centimeters circumference. Today, this is ideal for a man who has a smaller wrist or a taste for vintage size, maybe a more conservative aesthetical preference, or for a woman with a smaller wrist who wants a man's watch that just happens to be a little bit smaller, and this delivers. It's thin enough to fit underneath the cuff, no problems whatsoever. We've got a wonderfully buttery soft, almost caramel brown calfskin strap. It's calf on both sides, and you can see, though, it's not perforated by gouging of the pin or torn in any way. It is as soft and buttery as a strap already long broken in. A wonderful pleasure. It feels incredible and smells even better. Taking a look, you can see it's got thick cuts of leather. It's sheer cut with lacquering on the side for refinement, a monotone stitch, and we have a buckle here, pin buckle, very simple, with the Maltese cross motif. You can see on the bottom a little bit of that pre-August 1st, 1995 hallmarking magic. August 1st, 1995 was the point when the hallmark with the woman's head became the hallmark with the St. Bernard's head. And August 1st, 1995 clearly transpired after the production, or at least the hallmarking of this buckle, because you can see the pre-August 1st, 95 hallmark there. You can also see it on the back of the case. So you know that this case, at least, and this buckle, at least, were made, maybe assembled later, but made before August 1st, 1995, and sometime after the 1991 debut of the model. You can also see a little bit of that Boscoriale patina. Remember, 18 karat gold is 75% gold. It's got a little bit of copper, and if you're familiar with the treasure of Boscoriale, the Roman coins found there in 1985, you know what I mean about that particular patina as the copper begins to express itself as a little bit of tarnish. You don't really see that on the watch. The watch feels much more, I would say, lived in the sense that no patina has built up on its surfaces. It's a very simple case, blended lugs. They're relatively tall, but narrow when viewed end-on, broad when viewed from the side and profile. We've got rectangular vintage-inspired pushers and a little push-down crown with the Maltese cross on it. There's even a little kerf underneath, so you can more easily dig your nail in. You can see the case back is fixed in place using screws. and that the screws are in very good condition. You always worry when you see boogered up, rounded screws on an old watch. Everything here looks superb, and you can see from the depth and definition of the caseback marks that this watch is largely untouched. Now, it is a automatic winding watch, and so it's going to be fundamentally different from the original in a lot of respects. 3 registers, a date, automatic winding, and the combination internally of a column wheel with a vertical clutch. So you can see we've got a very mildly cambered sapphire, a bezel that's got a little bit of a vertical lip, then a conical profile, then a flange abutting the sapphire. Dial with white lacquer, beautifully polished. We have a vintage-inspired tachymetric scale on the dial. Generally, pre-1960 chronographs designs would feature a tachymetric scale on the dial. Later on, it would move to the bezel. You can see we've got lovely baton hands, which are rounded and vaulted across their top. They're in gold, so are the indices. They will never tarnish or oxidize. Maltese cross logo in gold. We have a little gold chaptering that separates the outer track from the inner dial, and then we have further polished chapterings for the sub-registers. We have inside a Vacheron Constantin caliber 1136, which is Vacheron's version of the Frédéric Piguet 1185. Unidirectional automatic winding, instantaneous jumping minute, 40-hour power reserve, 3 Hz beat rate, quick set date, a crisp column wheel with smooth vertical clutch action. Vertical clutches are seamless. They engage without any jump or stagger. And if you like to leave your chronograph running, you can do so. With a vertical clutch, there's no additional wear and tear. It's very thin, fine, integrated column wheel vertical clutch chronograph movement. It was one of the first truly modern chronograph calibers to be built post-quartz crisis. It's nicely decorated, 37 jewel, based on a movement commonly used by Breguet, Audemars Piguet, Vacheron, and Blancpain. F. Piguet is today manufactured Blancpain. It is a high-end movement. In this application, it is adjusted in 5 positions. It would have been 30 meters water resistant back in the day. I encourage you not to test that theory for obvious reasons. This is now a vintage watch in its own right. Neo-vintage with a little bit of a nod to the 1950s. This is the 49002/000J in yellow gold. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.